Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Our guest today is considered Ireland's top business coach who specialises in helping business people remove their mental blocks, increase emotional intelligence, and achieve their goals faster and easier than they ever thought possible. Today, he's going to show you how you can deal with your fears so you can immediately stop your self-sabotaging behaviours. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our good friend, Ken Falconer.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, let's put him in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? What's your first line of questioning?
One of the questions, you believe everyone is a winner because they are all the sperm that got the egg. But why don't we feel that way? And what was one of your worst fears?
Right. Well, let me explain the sperm that got the egg first. That's a bit
I love
random.
that way you wrote that.
You know, as part of the whole creation, the part of the creation is we were 1 in a million, and we are all 1 in a million.
Yep.
And as that sperm, out of 3-4 million, you were the one that reached the egg first. So from your very conception, you were a winner. We were all a winner. And, you know, yes, it's when I mention that to people, it does stop them in their strides. They do think about, what did he just say? But when we realize that we were conceived and we are a winner, we come through the creation process, and we were born into this world. And we were born into this world, and we were born as equals. Each and every one of us were born as equals. And what happens, there's something amazing happens, because we're born into a culture and a society. And then we're removed from nature when the doctors cut the umbilical cord. And we're handed now as the most precious little item that anybody could ever have. And they're handed into the hands of humans. And the humans are looking at each other and thinking, what are we going to do with this? But that's what happens. So we're born into the world as equals, and then we're born into the world to be conditioned for our survival and where we're born.
I know when Nikita was born, she was a winner. She was the sperm that got the egg.
Yep.
And I could imagine as a little sperm, she must have been so aggressive. She's so competitive. She wants to eat the food now, and I'm sure she wanted to eat the egg back then.
Yeah. So, you know, that's where we were. So when we came into the world, what was the question you asked again, then, Lida? You confused me with a sperm thing.
Yeah. But I just want to know, for you, what was one of your worst fears? You know, like when we all been through those.
One of my worst fears, I suppose, when I was growing up, and again, it's all to do with our conditioning and the environment that we've been born into. I had very good parents. They had great morals. They had values and beliefs. They had, in my opinion, because remember, they're conditioning their opinion on me. So one of my fears was not being good enough, not reaching their expectations. And quite often, that fear can lead to an emotion. It was almost like a guilt. I'm never doing enough to please them. You know, when you're brought up with moral beliefs and good moral values, like I'm 56. So back in our days, punishment was quite kinesthetic. You know, it wasn't being sitting on the naughty step. So our punishment was quite kinesthetic. It was the canes, it was the straps, but then again, our teachers did the same. So that would have been one of our fears, certainly one of my fears, is when I misbehaved, when I didn't reach the mark, when I didn't stand up to the plate, when I didn't reach my parents' expectations, the punishment was quite kinesthetic. So it was a fear of not being good enough, a fear of not reaching expectations. So long answer to a short question, I suppose. But that would have been one of the big fears. And with that fear, because I wasn't reaching expectations, I had a lot of guilt built into me. You know, because of my upbringing, because of my belief system, I had a lot of guilt because, you know, I was punished the same way for making mistakes as I was for learning values and morals.
So what I'm hearing, Ken, is that these emotions, these destructive emotions, don't just hang out by themselves, but they buddy up like fear hangs out with guilt. Yes. And then guilt hangs out and brings its buddy along hurt. And all of a sudden we've got this bloody Molotov cocktail. Yeah. It's an explosion within ourselves. You know, that fear has one effect on the body, the hurt and the guilt. So what does it feel like to have that? Because, you know, when we punished physically, we can often suppress our emotions and we don't realize we're feeling those emotions. So if you could go back, what do they feel like, those emotions, all running around together?
They're running about in your head, and it's this whole feeling of always being judged. It's a feeling of not reaching expectations. And to be fair now, they became my expectations as well. Because remember, I was conditioned to have these belief systems. So although they were the expectations of the people around me, they became mine as well. So behaviorally, you know, when I went offline, I took on all the feelings. And remember, once we have the feelings, once we have these thoughts, once we're programmed the way we're programmed, once we're conditioned, you know, when we're conditioned, we're then going to have feelings. Those feelings are then going to produce actions. Yep. And then it's going to affect our decisions. And I suppose the effect it had on me then, Daniel, would have been that I wouldn't have been the first to stand up to the mark to present myself. The fear of getting something wrong. Because what happens when I get something wrong? Well, what did happen when I get something wrong? Let's change that, because this is a way, way, way down the past. I wasn't the first to initiate. I was in school. Even I want to mention about, so even going through the school years, you know, you could become two people. I lost significance because of the harsh upbringing, I suppose. And it wasn't a harsh upbringing, it was just belief systems. And when you doubt your performance, you lose a wee bit of self-significance. Yep. So you're going to become one of two people. In my opinion, you either become the class bully or the class clown.
Yep.
I became the class clown. Because now you could get significance. Yep. People would laugh at you. People would communicate with you in a different way. While when you attempt to do things and make a failure, your own expectations and your expectations towards and other people's expectations upon you were going to cause me an emotional hurt. So our behaviors always change.
So you come into this world as a winner. Yeah. And quickly the cord's been severed. Yeah. And all of a sudden these conditions are put on you. And all of a sudden you're feeling all these emotions. Did Papa ever sit you down on your knee, on his knee, and prepare you for that? Did anybody prepare you for it?
Oh no! Listen, this is where most parents get it wrong. When you go out and you buy yourself a toaster, don't you get a set of instructions? Yeah. Well, when you get a human being.
No, what?
Did you keep the instructions?
No.
So
that's why she's always burning the toast, Ken.
So, you know, the most simplistic things, when we buy them, we get a set of instructions. Yet no one has instructions when we're born.
Yep.
You know, and what happens is you have a belief system from a parent coming down her side, another parent coming down the other side, and they put together, and all parents, when they gel, they will bring up their children to the best of their ability with the information that they have. There's no parent ever wants to hurt their children.
Yeah.
And the very few who do, hopefully, are behind bars.
100%.
Yeah.
So these things are taking place at a very early age. There's also things that are being passed down through the genealogy. And then in their 40s and 50s, successful Irish businessmen and women come and meet you. And
Yes.
And they've got big businesses. They're making a lot of money. They got their dream wife. They have their dream house, and everything must have been perfect for them their whole life. And that's why they're successful.
No.
Is that the reality? Come on, it's got it. Don't tell me these people have limitations, or do they?
No.
No.
Everyone has the limitation. I'm going to say something here which may seem a bit obscure at the start. We talk about a comfort zone, don't we?
100%.
And the comfort zone is a zone that we want to stay in, because when we step outside of that comfort zone, it becomes scary. Let's think of it differently than most people talk about it. You can be a successful business owner. You could have made your mark on the world. You could have been successful financially. You could have been recognized publicly. But yet, there's something that holds you back from going to the next level. Okay? Some people say these people are in their comfort zone now and they're afraid to step out of their comfort zone. I'm going to suggest their comfort zone is when they make decisions and go to the next level. Because what stops them from going to the next level are fears. You know, you could have built up your business, but the next level means that you have to do something that you have never done before. You know, when you do something you've never done before, that's what stops them from progressing. So I'm going to suggest where they are, they're possibly not in their comfort zone. They're in a zone that they somehow feel comfortable, but their comfort zone is the zone beyond when they deal with the fears, which is stopping them from moving forward.
You could not imagine a newborn baby trying to climb back into the womb.
That's right.
Where it was comfortable, but we do that. And so these fears, Ken, successful business people, what fears are they going through? Because I think there's a misconception that successful people have never had a challenge. But for people who need to move out of their comfort zones, what are some of the things that they could possibly be going through right now? What are some of these things that are holding them back? You know, if you could list them out, what would they be?
They would have doubts. You know, they would have doubts. They would have apprehensions. You know, they would have other people around them holding them back. You know, a typical, maybe in industry, you know, the voices in their heads which will hold them back. Okay, let's buy this new piece of plant or machinery, £100,000. Let's do it. It's going to cut our production costs down. It's going to increase our output. And then the voices in the head say, well, where are we going to get the seals for this? You know, it's someone who have the qualification and there's maybe a job opportunity out there. And then they hear in the grapevine, such and such has applied for that job. Well, there's no point in me in applying. You have just put yourself back down there and elevated this other person who you don't even know properly away up there. Remember, we're all born equal. So the only thing that holds us back is this emotional voices in our heads.
So when we start having those voice in our head, you know, we create something like a fear, you know, because those unknown. So for you as an expert, what kind of strategy you would like to share with us, you know, in nowadays society, how can we deal with fears when you come through?
Can I sell my fears on eBay? Because I've paid a big price for them.
Yeah. So like, you know, when we start, you know, having those fears like coming up, those voices, as you said, how can we deal with it?
Well,
Right, well-
first thing, one of our friends here, Kim's saying she adores the accent.
That's
Now,
right.
if I had a voice in my head, I'd just want Ken's voice in there all the time. That'd solve all my problems.
But it's a great voice to have in your head, isn't it? Well, there's one strategy.
Yep.
Change the voice in your head. As Kim says, change that voice in your head. Start looking at what you do want instead of looking at what you don't want. And Daniel, you coached me, 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. You actually trained me to become a coach. And these are the techniques that you had told us then. It's changing our focus. We need to change our focus. Strategies that people can do is to write down what they want every single day. Every day, not what you don't want. If I was to say to you, I don't want you to think about that blue tree.
Yeah.
I'd say, take that bloody thing back to IKEA because it's in my head.
It's there. And the easiest way to describe that, if I was to ask anyone to rattle through the alphabet, they could do it so easily, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and they keep going. But if I was to say to that same person, I want you to make it easier, I just want you to say every other letter. Now you have to think on every letter, not to say the letter in between. A, C, E. Okay? So now we're focusing on what we don't want.
Yep.
So we need to be very clear and concise what we want in life. And once we write down these goals, you need to write a goal down. You need to write them down every day. Get them into the nervous system.
Yep.
Once they're in the nervous system, once they're in the neural system, things happen. Things happen. Because when you're looking at what you want every single day, the whole thought processes change. And you have to be disciplined as well. Yeah. Because when you write them down, you have set yourself a goal. I want this to happen. But there's no point in writing the thing down and just writing it for the sake of writing it. When you write it down, you have to put a plan into the process. Yeah. You now have to plan how you're going to get there. So what you need to do then is to start writing your plan. Yep. How am I going to succeed? Now, whether that be a weekly goal, whether that be monthly, whether that be a yearly, 3-year, 5-year, I have my 5-year goal set. Now, once I have my 5-year goal set, I come back to see what I need it to be in 3 years for me to reach my 5-year goal. And then I come back to 1 year, where do I need to be this time next year for me to reach my 3-year goal? And then what I did was, where do I need to be next month to reach? Well, it was 6 months and then 1 month. But what you have to do is to put small incremental increases. People are airy-fairy with their goals and they stick it away up there, and it is so obscene. They feel they can't get it because they haven't got a planning process.
I set a goal, Ken, to be rich.
I could send you $5.
I set the goal and I walked down the street and I found $1.
Yeah. So, what does that mean? That's the concept of rich. To a homeless man, $5 could be rich. Yeah. Someone who's down, $5 could make a difference between having food one day and not having food. So you need to be specific with those goals.
Yeah.
So people who need to learn these skills, Ken, how do they get in contact with you? Where's the best place for them to find you? Because you've achieved some incredible goals. You've started businesses, you've sold businesses, you've helped hundreds of people in the past year in Ireland alone, and all those other people that you've impacted who follow you globally. How can people learn more about what you do?
Right. Well, because of this internet that we have, the world is such a small place. So if you look into kenfalconer.com, you're going to come across my website. If you're on social media, I'm on LinkedIn. Again, Ken Falconer. If you're on Facebook, again, Ken Falconer. It's as simple as that. I don't hide behind a company name to make people very easy for people to come and find me.
Excellent.
My name is my business card.
Brilliant.
Well, I'm the sperm that got the egg, and
Okay.
I'm already a winner. And I think this is a very important thing for people to remember, Ken, is that you made it here, which it's against all the odds. And like you said before, those mental blocks and that self-talk and those doubts and those fears and that hurt and the guilt start to get in the way. And, you know, you're the pro in this area. Can people move on from that? Can people overcome these fears? Can they really do it?
Of course they can. I've done it. You know, my story has been, and I've just to let you know, of the local paper here, the Belfast Telegraph, which is throughout the whole of Northern Ireland. They contacted me last week, so we've got a double-page spread on my story of how I left construction. Yeah, thank you. So it was how I left construction to come into emotional intelligence. So everybody can change. And for me to leave construction to Northern Ireland, one of their best jobs in construction, to do what I'm doing, that's a massive change. But there were reasons. There were reasons because I found myself in this deep, dark place. I was in my garage looking at a blue rope. You know, I was there, but yet on the face of it, I was working long hours, long hours, because I had to, because when I quietened down, my head just got full of these voices, to the point as I was in the garage looking at a blue rope. So no matter where you are in life, no matter where you are, this is important, that the thought processes in your head, if they're not serving you, you must change them. And how you change them, you know, I am an emotional intelligence expert, specialist in the sense that I have a suite of tools. Now, I came from construction. I just said I came from construction. So everything we did in construction was measured. Everything we did was measured. You know, we had the drawing, and I could visualize this drawing being a building over there in 6 months or 1 year. And for business owners out there who are very maybe analytical, we can do an assessment where we can actually see the blueprint of their mind, their thinking processes. We can see their core competencies and actually show it to them in paper and do a debrief with it and say, is this you? Because some people need the evidence, especially business owners who have reached a level of success. And when you show them evidence with a simple set of questions and they're thinking, yeah, this is me, well, then I can coach around those. There's a lot of people who come to me and we don't need to do the assessment because they stay up all night dreaming nightmares, they can't sleep. They have apprehensions, they have confidence issues. I don't need to do the assessment for those people because we already know. But when you do these assessments, it makes the invisible visible for that person.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if there's something that's been blocking you, something that's getting in your way, reach out to Ken Falconer and don't wait. Do it straight away. Give yourself permission. You're already a champion. And this gentleman has faced the darkest days. And the Belfast newspaper have identified this and they're going to run a story on it. So you can be sure that Ken is somebody who can help you through those times. So Ken, one final thought from you. Knowing what you now know, what would have you done differently about seeking a coach out for yourself in the dark days?
Speak to someone immediately. The dark days for me was embarrassment, guilt, shame. And I went through a process, and I've spoken to one of the local networking meetings, and I expressed this. There are people out there who can help you. Whatever you do, please, please talk to someone. Talk to someone. And every coach needs a coach. It's as simple as that. You know, I have a coach who does my financial side. I have another coach that does whatever, Daniel, which does my emotional intelligence. You know, we do have coaches, and coaches need coaches. And we
Agreed.
need to network with each other. We need to collaborate with each other, and we need to help others. And this is the feeling of gratitude we need.
I know.
Because one of my big beliefs is paying it forward. When I work with someone, although I get joy from it, it's when I see them passing it on to another generation. That's where it really, really feels good.
Ladies,
That's where it really feels good.
if you've felt that fear, if you've been held back by embarrassment, shame, hurt, or guilt, or you just need somebody to help you through those dark times, reach out to Ken Falconer. He's a top fella, and he will help you through those days. So, Ken, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. We all love that accent, and
That's
I know
true.
Kim will be dreaming about it all night.
I love it. I really enjoy it. Oh, that's so good.
Well,
You've been hypnotized.
Yeah.
Ken,
if you have a webcam, you can talk to me.
beautiful. Thank you so much
Thank
for your time,
you.
Ken. We'll
Thank
see
you
you
so
soon.
much. Have a good day.